Does anyone else read a physical book, a Kindle book, and an audiobook all at the same time? Or is that just me? Personally, I listen to 100 audiobooks at 100x times speed at the same time. So at that rate, you'll never reach my intellectual prowess, you knave. My name is Akshat and I'm a 16-year-old boy from India, and I want to work with you, Elon. I have studied whole space science encyclopedias and gathered a lot of information on diesel engine working, gasoline engine working, induction motor-based vehicles working. I'm restricted from my school because I insulted my physics teacher in front of the whole fudging class because he was teaching the working of p-n junction completely wrong. I want to work with you, or I'll sue you one day when I will make my own vehicle and space company. He'll never hire you, because he'll hire me instead. I have an idea that will revolutionize space travel. You see, rocket fuel is too expensive. It costs billions of dollars per space travel flight. So here is my suggestion. Catapult. But a catapult doesn't have enough energy to get you into space. Then I suggest bigger catapult. Mark II, electric boogaloo. This concerns me because they are appealing to the lowest IQ person possible. Even if you consider yourself average, realize that 50% of the population is less intelligent than you are. In my case, when I read these things from Democrats, I consider myself in the top 97% because I can't fathom a person being stupid enough to fall for this stuff. Well, personally, in terms of intelligence, I consider myself to be in the top pi percent. And to clarify, pi is a number like 1, 2, 3, or 69. I wouldn't expect a layman like you to have heard of such a high-level idea, such as pi. I usually just go to the doc when I'm really sick. I tell them what's wrong, what meds I need, what doses, and for how long. They just look at me like, Yeah, they're probably looking at you like that because they're wondering how you got out of the mental asylum. BS. Saying I don't see race is ignoring identity and cultures and the very real ways minorities are discriminated against. You're basically saying you're treating someone the same in spite of the color of their skin. That you're ignoring the thing that you think. Not BS. You have your opinion and I have my equally valid opinion. If my opinion has no value, neither does yours. In fact, since I'm more intelligent than 99.9% of the population, based on IQ, chances are that my opinion is far more valid than yours. IQ has no bearing on opinions. It's what you know about the topic in question that matters. Like Einstein's IQ was like 10 gajillion. But if you asked for his opinion on what stitch to use when you're sewing a sack to hold your big ego, he wouldn't give you a good answer, because he doesn't sew. And of course there's also the moral and emotional aspects to consider. How did the fun night of drinking go? Ooh. Good, but I'm tired and I made regrettable choices. It's okay though. Regret is a strong emotion to feel, I guess. But it helps people learn. Where are you going with this, Lamel? Depends on how regrettable the choices were. OMG, why is my psychology degree playing into this? I don't know what you're trying to say right now. I'm really confused. I was a psych major, kinda. Well, this guy's in luck because he's the 100th psych major I found on Reddit, so he wins $1 million! Congratulations! Psych? Haha. Get it? Cause psych and psych are homophones? Haha. Got him. I can't understand why people struggle with mathematics at all. Everything is just pure and simple logic. There could also be a possibility of me being a better human being. I sometimes create calculus equations and predict their graphs all for entertainment and fun of it, but probably many of idiot humans won't even understand this. Oh, you think you're good at math, huh? Name every number then. I bet you can't do it. Ask me about donuts and we will end up discussing communism and fascism somehow. I am very smart. Oh, did I hear communism? Comrade, yes! Come, we will share some vodka. Unless you're underage, then we will have McDonald's Sprite. It has the same kick. What are you then? I could very simply say I'm a student, but I'm cynical to the idea of playing a role of a student or a teacher or a daughter. We're better when identified independently of such societal roles. What am I? I'm just a humble bounty hunter, ma'am. I'll speak a lot of stuff that goes right over most young men's heads because they're not ready for it. Why have I always vibed well with older folks? I know things at a young age that usually come at an older age. See, I grew up pretty quick too. I was already reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar when I was 3 months old. Oh, and I was reading it in Latin, by myself. And by the age of 5, I was speaking which is a language of fourth dimensional beings that the rest of humanity hasn't found yet, so I generally don't mention that very much. I bet I'm the only Yank in the comments who knows what a tenor is. Nope, but I lived north of London for 3 years, so kinda unfair. You're definitely not. Don't know why you think you're the only one, Lamau. You must be so proud. Yeah, I live in the big yeehaw state and I know what a tenor is. I know because it's what my mom asks me for, so she can buy some sugar from the guy at the corner of the street. But it must be either really good or she's getting ripped off, cause she only brings back a little baggie of sugar. And with that same amount of money, I could get like pounds of sugar at the store. So I don't know what's going on. If Lego minifigures are made and not born, then how does that explain where baby minifigures come from? Just a piece of feedback. The meme really isn't very funny. Minifigures being born isn't really ingrained in the social consciousness of people, AFOL or not. This causes a dissonance between the two statements in the image. Memes mostly come from socially prevailing issues or ideas, topics discussed, even within an esoteric group such as the AFOL community. Oh, so that's what memes are? Then explain. Schrodinger's douchebag. A guy who says offensive things and decides whether he was joking based on the reaction of people around him. That's not an accurate description of quantum physics. I really miss the days before memes sometimes when you didn't hear people talking about Schrodinger outside of the classroom. And I'm still not used to people talking about Schrodinger in public in general. I miss the days when I didn't hear people talking about Schrodinger outside of the bedroom. Yeah, those were the days. Well, I am cursed with knowledge. Too much for one person to contain. If you want any quick advanced maths, I'll give you part of the curse. No! The curse must be eradicated. The only way to solve what plagues this world is to shroud it in a veil of ignorance. For with ignorance comes contentment, and with contentment comes peace. So I ask of you to release your burden of knowledge. Break free from the chains of your mind. Live free and happy. And if you won't do it for yourself, do it for Kevin the puppy. He is quite adorable. How could you say no to Kevin? Funny thing, the cold air. Most guys shrink up, but not me. Lol. That's good to know. Haha, I like the sarcasm. I'm not a perv, just FYI. Just a very open person. Lasai, the trials and tribulations of a deep thinker. Ah yes, I'm well aware of the trials and tribulations of thinking deeply about guy parts that shrink in the cold. Not gonna lie, it's pretty hard. I act stupid, but I'm smart AF. I just don't show it. Legit, I can tell you the meaning of life. Your IQ must be off the charts, huh? Somewhat. Here, I'll show you. Look at this graph! Hey, I think your chart's going the wrong way. No, that's the correct orientation. Ryzen 9 3950X, of course. But on a serious note, it depends. Haha. I'd love to be able to buy a serious gaming computer. It's the Tornado R3 or the HP Pavilion that I'm deciding between. You can't really compare a laptop to a desktop though. If you're asking pure performance between the two, it depends on the specific SKUs. As far as I can tell, they're pretty much the same in graphics and stuff. The only difference is desktop has more storage and laptop has the more advanced Ryzen. What even is a more advanced Ryzen? I'm very lost as to why you'd even compare a laptop to a desktop as a whole. Like the laptop is Ryzen 5, the desktop is Ryzen 3, so the laptop is a newer version. Because I've only ever had laptops and I want to know which is better. It's kinda like asking if you want a car or a boat. You can't really compare the two meaningfully. if you get what I mean. No, it's not. Both are for gaming, so it's more like asking if you want a car or a Jeep. People are always telling me a desktop is better in gaming than a laptop because it can handle more, so I only wanted to know if it's worth getting an older version on desktop than a newer version in laptop. Okay, well, do you ever plan to go off-roading ever? And Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9 are classes, or I believe they're called product families, nothing to do with generation. What does off-roading even mean in relation to a computer? Ryzen 3 still came out before Ryzen 7 though, so it's still an older version. Actually, Ryzen 7 launched first in March 2017, Ryzen 5 in April 2017, and finally Ryzen 3 in July 2017. Considering I was there to watch the launch coverage and I built a PC in that year, I'm quite sure I'm right. And the primary distinction between a laptop and a desktop is portability. The primary distinction between a Jeep and an average car is its off-road ability. Why are you so snobby? I clearly don't know a huge amount about gaming laptops. That's why I asked the question. You weren't forced to answer it. Because you're just plain wrong, Shruggy. More advanced Ryzen, newer version, Ryzen 3 came before Ryzen 7, Ryzen 5 is newer than Ryzen 3? I assumed it worked that way. I never claimed to be right about it, and I was rude about it either. Subtly didn't work. Subtly? When do you think I was trying to be subtle? About what? You can't really compare a laptop to a desktop. It depends. Twice. Nothing to do with generation. Interesting you think I'm talking about you though, lol. You can't compare them. And I never once said you were wrong either. You're the one that got butthurt. Apples or oranges, cars or boats, desktops or laptops. They're distinct for a reason. A laptop has a keyboard, pointing device, display, and processing hardware. A desktop only has the last. They're designed with completely different goals in mind. A desktop doesn't need to worry about drawing too much power. A laptop does. Yeah, and I'm trying to decide which I want to buy, but you started off snotty about it. Literally all I asked is a desktop Ryzen 3 better than a laptop Ryzen 5 to play games. Nothing about portability or keyboard or mouse. I know all those things. I'm only asking gameplay. A car realistically doesn't need to worry about sinking, and a boat probably should. What's faster, a car with 22-inch wheels or a truck with 24-inch wheels? I've been trying to explain how the information you're giving is useless, and the preconceptions you have are wrong, but apparently you need that spelled out, hello? Well, here's my 2 cents about laptops versus computers. I think the only reason to go for a laptop is for the portability. If you're gonna use it at school or work, or maybe if you want to do a little bit of gaming at a friend's house, then a laptop might be for you. But I do think the computer is a better investment, mainly because you can upgrade every part of a computer. In a laptop, pretty much the only components that you can upgrade are the RAM and the storage. So all in all, if you want more bang for your buck or just better performance, I'd say go for the computer. But if you're going to be doing schoolwork or just want something more convenient to take with you, then a laptop's for you. And that's the end of this one. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. And don't forget to wear your tinfoil hat so your brain cells can't leave your head. And I hope you have a good day.